And strong. And I am your host. My name is Papa Kwesi Nduom, and we are discussing the Electoral Commission this evening, and we're asking the question: is the Electoral Commission a threat to our democracy? We will discuss this from the point of view of three young people. And we have chosen three young people deliberately for a reason. Quite often we say that the future belongs to the young people, that the young people, they are the ones who are going to inherit everything in Ghana. As I sit here, I'm not a young person. I'm an older man, as I keep reminding many different people, that I'm more than 64 years old. And so I'm moving on. And as I move on, other people must come. And those people who must come, they must understand the foundation of the nation. And this nation, Ghana, through the 1992 Constitution, this nation has accepted to live by a constitution that guarantees democracy to the people. When you come up and mention democracy, immediately we all think about voting. And if you're going to vote, someone has to organize the election. Someone has to sign people up, register them to be candidates. Someone has to register the people to become voters. Someone supervises the voting process, and someone also comes to say who has won the election. And per our Constitution, the person who has that right, who bears that responsibility, is the Electoral Commission of the Republic of Ghana. Joining me here this evening are three people. Let me start with, to my immediate right, is Mr. Ferdinand Bright Asma. He is a level 400 social sciences student from the University of Cape Coast, and he says he is a student entrepreneur. Next to him is Valerie Ajemisa, who is also a level 400 student, but studying African and International Studies, also from the University of Cape Coast. And then there is Jimmy Kojo Kutin. He is a PhD candidate in African history, also from the University of Cape Coast. So, ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to Ghana Great and Strong. This is a very unique program. It has been coming people's way for more than 4 years. And for more than 4 years, every Saturday from 7 to 8 p.m., Ghana Great and Strong comes on radio in all of the 10 regions and is on television. So I'm sure that you have friends out there. Maybe you know somebody in Tamale, somebody in Kumasi. They may be hearing your voice, they may be seeing your face. And so you're welcome, and you are going to be the people doing most of the talking this evening. Ghana Great and Strong is sponsored by Gold Coast. And Gold Coast, the company that is called Gold Coast, has different components. There's Gold Coast Capital, Gold Coast Fund Management, Gold Coast handles pensions, Gold Coast is a brokerage company, and so on and so forth. They are our main sponsors for the program. And now there's a new thing out there in Ghana. That new thing is called GN Mobile Money. And GN Mobile Money comes with a unique distinction that you don't have to bother about which telephone network the person you are sending money to is using. So if you have an MTN phone, you can use GN Mobile Money to send money to somebody who has a Tigo phone or a Vodafone, and so it is network neutral. That's GN Mobile Money. We will take a short break, and when we come back, we'll start to talk about our topic. This is Ghana Great and Strong, and we'll come back.
Good day. I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to talk about GN Bank. We offer at the moment the highest savings interest rates. We offer as much as 9%, irrespective of the amount of money that you have. For the 9%, the key thing is, of course, you must have a savings account with us, and irrespective of the amount that you have in the account, GN Bank will pay you 9% per annum. This is the highest on the market that you find in the Ghanaian banking industry. In addition, a life insurance cover of 1,000 cedis. This simply means that at any point in time, if a customer of the bank holding any of these savings products become deceased, the bank would pay into that customer's account 1,000 Ghana cedis, which will then be available to the next of kin. It is for these reasons, among others, that we invite the communities where we operate, the opinion leaders, everybody within the community to start banking at least with GN Bank.
GN Bank, the People's Bank.
Welcome back to Ghana Great and Strong. And I have three guests here with me, three young people who will discuss our topic, the Electoral Commission. We're asking, is the Electoral Commission a threat to our democracy? And I'd like for them to give me their beginning comments. I'm sure that they have taken note of what's in the Constitution, taken note of what the powers given to the Electoral Commission by the Constitution. Many people are not aware of what has brought the Electoral Commission into being. Just from your perspectives, just briefly, before we talk about them, I'd like to get your perspective, your views, from whatever angle of what you know about the Electoral Commission, how it's come into being, anything at all about the Electoral Commission. Let's start with you, Mr. Aslan.
Well, Electoral Commission, looking at its objectives and functions from the Constitution, is to protect the integrity of the democracy of the nation. The EC, as we call the Electoral Commission, is in being, or let's say in existence, just to protect our democracy and also make sure things are in order so that there's no chaos in the nation.
Okay, so Ms. Ajay Mensah, by law, how does the Electoral Commission come into being? Where can we find them?
Okay. One of the major principles of democracy has to do with free and fair election, and that's how come it's just right that the Electoral Commission came into being. By law, I believe the Electoral Commission came to being in 1993, and the Constitution gives it all the powers it needs so as to be independent and takes care of that principle that serves democracy.
Okay. Mr. Kuti,
Yeah.
what is your perspective about the coming into being of the Electoral Commission, and what is it that they are supposed to do?
Thank you. I think that an ingredient, a very important ingredient in every democracy is competition. And for the competition to be genuine, there must be a middle person, somebody who will referee that competition. So the framers of the Constitution thought it wise that an institution that will operate freely must come into being. So the Electoral Commission came into being. I believe Articles 44, 45, and 46 of the 1992 Constitution gave it powers. Further, Act 451, I believe, also gave, almost the same powers. I mean, stressed the importance of the Electoral Commission to ensure that there's free and fair elections, not only for the presidential and parliamentary, but also district level elections.
So when we talk about our democracy,
Yes,
the Electoral Commission sits squarely at the foundation stage.
precisely.
So for everybody to understand where we are, the 1992 Constitution, there's Chapter 7 of the 1992 Constitution. That's the part that talks about the representation of the people, where it also talks about the right to vote. And if you go essentially Chapter 43, not chapter but Section 43 of Chapter 7, that is where it specifically talks about the Electoral Commission, and it says that there shall be an Electoral Commission, I'm reading, which consists of a chairman, 2 deputy chairmen, 4 other members, and the members shall be appointed by the President under Article 70 of the Constitution. So I want to pick up that point. We'll mention some of the other things, but it says that a person is not qualified to be appointed a member of the Electoral Commission if they are not qualified to become a member of Parliament. The chairman also has the same terms and service of conditions of service as a justice of the Court of Appeal. The 2 deputy chairmen, they get the same conditions of service as justices of the High Court. Okay, and while they are at the commission, they cannot hold any other public office. So there are a number of other things. And just so that for everybody's knowledge, so I'm just going to read to you in here as well. But it says they shall have the following functions: compile the register of voters and revise it at such periods as may be deemed necessary by law, demarcate electoral boundaries, okay, both national and local government elections, conduct and supervise all public elections and referenda, to educate the people on the electoral process and its purpose, undertake programs for the expansion of registration of voters, and perform other functions as may be prescribed by law. And there are certain elements in this law, and then there are other elements that I want to bring in and have you understand from your perspective. Political parties cannot come into being unless the Electoral Commission accepts them, that they qualify and they meet the criteria to become political parties. So I want to ask you, maybe I'll start this time from Mr. Kuti. In your view, just from what you know, is the Electoral Commission or actively guiding the political parties and making sure that they do what they are supposed to do, just based on what you know?
I will take it from the angle of the question. I do not think the power, the Electoral Commission should be the one to decide who qualifies, which political party qualifies. It should be defined in law.
You're saying you don't think. What I'm saying is the law gives that right to the Electoral Commission.
Yes.
Okay. So you are arguing against the law.
I am arguing that now we should move beyond discretion, giving a lot of discretion to the Electoral Commission, and for that matter, a lot of the state institutions, and move towards restrictive due process, where it is clearly defined in law that you need to meet so and so criteria, then you qualify. So what the EC does then is to ensure that indeed you have met the criteria. Then we move on.
Let me ask you, what do you know? I'll come to you, Mr. Asma. What do you know about what criteria anybody or any group of people must meet before they become a political party, before they are recognized?
As far as you are 18 years and above and you are eligible to vote, you can't have a political party. The next one, you meet terms and conditions that have been provided by the Electoral Commission. One can be being a citizen of the nation. Two, you having credibility, as in not having anything that is going contrary, has gone contrary to the laws of the nation before. So if you have those things that is being frowned against by the law, you are not qualified to be or have a political party.
Okay, Mr. J. Mensah.
Yes, sir.
What do you know about what a group of people must satisfy before they become a political party?
What I know
Yes.
is that after they've sat down to draw their objectives, their main aims, and what they intend to offer to the people that they are seeking for to get the power, the mandate, sure. Then they make sure that per the constitution they draft everything. They are giving documents that they are supposed to make sure that they fill, and they give it out to people who are expected to sign. It goes a long way to it's not just based on just a particular section, but it goes throughout the nation. And after they are done with that, they get to do some payments as well before they are being allowed.
Okay, so we have a number of political parties, more than 20.
Yes.
Some have been registered since 1992.
Yeah.
Have you, Mr. Kwesi, have you heard that any political party has been taken off the register?
Not recently. Not recently.
Since 1992?
Not recently. I think rather is the political parties who decide to, close down or merge with other parties. But the Electoral Commission, I think the last time they tried was in 2016 to use administrative procedures to. That is where I have a challenge.
I'm talking political parties.
Yes.
Where the party itself.
Yes.
Has been told by the Electoral Commission that you no longer meet the requirements to be a political party. Therefore, we are taking your name off. Have you ever heard of that?
Not that I am aware of.
No.
Have you?
Not really.
But you know that we have some political parties that have declared that they were going on holiday.
Yes.
That they were, but their names are still there.
Yes.
And then you also know that there are a number of political parties, but as we are here today, since the election 2016, you haven't heard them say one word or do anything. But when it comes to some critical decisions to be made at the Electoral Commission, they show up.
Yes.
When it comes time for campaigns, they show up.
Yes.
What does that tell you about the conduct of the Electoral Commission, Mr. Jemisa?
Well, generally, I would say that it tells me that the Electoral Commission becomes effective only before and after elections, because that's the time that we get to see what they really stand for, and that's where the problem is. Because for them to just be redundant, people don't get to scrutinize everything that they are doing after elections. And when election comes up, that's when we see the Electoral Commission doing something. We hear of every proceedings that they put across. So that's how come these political parties also get the opportunity to come in, because that's the time that they are also effective. So if it's left alone and these political parties come in at that time, it's because that's the period.
Okay, Mr. Kwesi, let me give you some information, then you can react to it.
Okay.
Because the political parties law says that the party should have on its national executive committee one member from each region.
Yes.
That it has branches in all the regions, and in addition organized in not less than 2/3 of the districts in each region.
Yes.
And that there is in each district at least one founding member of the party who is ordinarily resident in the district, or is a registered voter in the district, and so on and so forth.
Yes.
Now, do you believe that all the political parties in Ghana, they meet this criteria?
Majority of the political parties in Ghana don't meet the criteria.
So if they don't,
Yes.
then why are they there? Who allows them to be there?
Two things. It shows that, number one, too much discretion has been given to the Electoral Commission. Number two, we haven't defined what the people of Ghana meant for them to be independent. So they hide behind administrative processes to allow a lot of illegality to go on. The Constitution didn't say. The Constitution has, the various laws, the political parties law has defined how you become a functional political party, and thereafter, enjoy the privileges like going for meetings at the Electoral Commission. But it didn't say what happens to the Electoral Commission and its officers when they don't enforce the law. It doesn't say. It
doesn't say that, but do you believe, Mr. Asma, that the law specifies what happens to a political party if they do not comply to the provisions of the law that brought me to being?
Well, Doc, it can be stated all right, but if there are no proper checks on them, that is where they also get their liberty to act as and when they want or what they like.
When you say there are no checks, the Electoral Commission it has offices in every district.
Yes.
So, if it wants to know, we are right now sitting in Elmina, the municipal capital, and the Electoral Commission has offices there, has people there. So, if it wants to know, is the NDC here? Is the MPP here? Is the PPP here? Is the PNC here? They just have to walk around town and find out, do they have an office? Do they have officers, and so on and so forth? So is it that they don't want to know, or they're not interested? What do you think?
As I was saying, it is there, but they themselves are not giving themselves up to do what is expected of them. So, for example, if one political party is, let's say, in KE here, and not having other offices in other regions, or let's say other districts, and there's no checks on that here, this place, and this is where your floor is, the meaning that it is stated, but you have decided not to abide by what it is stated in the law.
So what is your view on this?
I feel there's less human resource. That's one thing, because
You say
there's a lot of
they
work.
don't have enough human resources.
No.
If you take Elmina or KEEA, even if there's one person in that office there, that one person in one whole year, or let's even one month, ought to be able to find out if the 20 whatever political parties, if they are here or not. Not so.
Yes, but some of them too are just refusing to do this because they do not find this as an exact work they're doing. Like they are not getting anything from this.
You know that registering political parties, that's one primary responsibility.
Yes.
If you don't register political parties, you can't have a national election.
Yes.
Sure. Exactly.
So if they're not doing that, are they helping our democracy? If they are just allowing anybody to decide that today I'm a political party, I can just come and give you some papers and so on and so forth, and you sign, and I'm a political party. And then once I do that, I can decide that, oh, today my family members, and me, for example, I have plenty of family members. I have uncles, aunties, brothers, sisters. So if I decide that I assign each one of them to a region, I make one chairman, make one secretary, one whatever, and I give it to them, and they go out there. So if somebody signs that you have a political party, is that right? I'm not national. I'm not in 2/3 of the districts. Nobody's checking. Does that help our democracy? The type that we've chosen, which is by the Constitution?
I don't see it helping. Like any other institution, let's take a university or a school, for example. When a school admits a student, there's always proper checks, whether the person is performing, the person is failing, or the person is doing something that is contrary to the institution's conduct.
Sure.
And this is what the EC is lacking.
Okay, we'll take a break. And when we come back, we'll talk about the diaspora, the representation of the People's Amendment Act, ROPA, is the law that people, Ghanaians abroad, they should vote. When we come back, I'll ask these young people, why is it that we have a law and that law is not being implemented?
Sure.
This is Ghana Great and Strong. We'll be back.
GN Bank has come on board. Hooray! Did you take a loan from the Student Loan Trust Fund for your tertiary education? Having challenges on how to pay back the student loan? Relax. You can now pay your student loan at GN Bank. GN Bank, the bank that provides unparalleled excellence in service anytime, any place, and anywhere. The good news is that you don't have to be a customer of GN Bank before you can repay your loan. All you need is to walk into any branch of GN Bank nationwide and make your payment. GN Bank can also set up a standing order or undertake transfers directly from a person's account to that of Student Loan Trust Fund. But this is for interested persons who will open an account with us. Remember to pay your student loan in any of our 108 locations nationwide. For more information, call us on 0302-218855 or 020-2220-360. Or email us at info@gnbank.com. You can also visit our website www.gnbankghana.com. GN Bank, the People's Bank.
Hey, oh you want it? Miss me that's too quick. You pepi no one day. One day, or your pension. Oh, what do day? At the chain you was it. Into me dinner pot saying that actually in a baby you. And now for veterans da Pusimra. Oh, my baby pain. The meeting no try there. Your pension when she says Sierra. Obiara and you to be to the Pen Trust Limited. Edumukua, what quadruple Gisemu. Pen Trust and could one competition Ghana for Nani Nara. Maybe I want you go to me here to Kitabo. Get up from Funa Unizia. What to lay the show second and 30th pension fund. A chusu, yes, maybe. Ayamo. And who from an Amoshabidi and can what ding in a room and can who's a Christian share. The minty to do make an Yamadi Kitabo. You was safe floor Premier Towers Dana, Obian National Theatre. Train, it was 030-290-1500 and 030-290-0989. Pen Trust. Yes, I'm Shaduna Yazi Juma. Pen Trust. Okay, group in Domingo.
Welcome back to Ghana Great and Strong. And this evening I'm here with Ferdinand Bright, Joe Asma to my immediate right, with Valerie Ajay-Mensah and Mr. Jimmy Kutin. They are all students from the University of Cape Coast, level 400 PhD student. And we are talking about the Electoral Commission and asking the question, is the Electoral Commission a threat to our democracy? If you want to send us a text message, and I said text message, WhatsApp message, the number to use is 020-75661-85. The number again is 020-75661-85. Please don't call, just send us a WhatsApp message. And we're asking the question, representation of the People's Amendment Act, that's Act 699. This was passed back in 2006 to allow Ghanaians residing elsewhere, giving them the right to vote in our elections. But this is 2017, more than 10 years. This law has not been implemented. It is the Electoral Commission that is supposed to see to it that it is implemented. So I will start from you, Mr. Kutin. Why do you think that this law that is handed over to the Electoral Commission has not been implemented?
Again, this question. The law didn't state a starting point. Okay, so the law was enacted in 2006. So the Electoral Commission is mandated to actualize the law within 12 calendar months. That is restrictive due process. But you give the law to the Electoral Commission. 11 years, they are still thinking about it. 11 years, they are still putting modalities in place. 11 years, they are still doing, we like this term very much, feasibility studies. And nobody, I mean, basically, like my beginning statement, so long as you give discretion to people and there are no proper checks and balances, this is where we are going to end up. We might probably
have think that it is not because too much discretion has been given to the Electoral Commission.
Discretion.
Okay, Ms. Ajay-Mensah, what do you think? Why do you think that law has not been implemented?
I feel they are looking at it from the angle where we do not have these people present in the country at the moment, and they are trying to justify their situation as of now with the fact that they do not really know what is happening in the country at the moment, and that's how come they do not really see the need in implementing.
But that would be against the law.
The law.
But the law says
yes,
you should allow them to vote,
yes.
And the people from outside, they've been demanding to be allowed to vote. So why
basically
is it not?
that's the reason, because they feel they are not experiencing the whole GDP year. They are not experiencing a whole lot of stuff in the country, even though they are citizens. They are far away. They are not here with us, so they do not know how to go about with their kind of candidates they would want to choose to be president.
You can't say that, can you?
Basically, that's
so,
the
but the point is that
why they're doing that.
whether the Electoral Commission thinks that or not, let's suppose they think that way.
Sure.
The law says you must allow them the right to vote. Mr. Asma, why do you think?
Well, I would take it from this point where, you know, when there is election, Ghanaians, we vote in Ghana. But we have people in different countries altogether. We have Ghanaians in all parts of the world. So if they are to organize election, then they have to look at, you know, those in US, they have to look at those in Canada, they have to look at those in Burkina Faso, whatever it is. So looking at the measure they have to put in place to get these people and account their votes and all that, they think, I see it as a overload work for them to look at, like a huge work for them to look at.
But that is the work that has been given to them to do.
So that is the point I'm looking at.
So you think they think the work is too much?
Because in Ghana,
now the Electoral Commission from Cote d'Ivoire does this. If you're an American, you can vote anywhere. If you're Canadian, it happens. If you're Senegal, it happens. I mean, there are countries that are poorer than us. They do it.
Well,
and you know, but so why is it that we the people of the Republic of Ghana,
I think it's
where the representatives of the people have gone to Parliament and have agreed that we should allow Ghanaians outside to come and vote?
Well, we all are in Ghana here, and we know what is happening now. Now, even in Ghana, when there's election, a lot of inconsistencies happen here in Ghana. I quite remember that was in 2008, 2004. We had another election after the first election. So if this thing to happen and happen again, I mean, even in Ghana, you cannot manage just Ghana election. How much more taking at different angles?
But I'm saying that other countries are able to do it, who are like us. They are able to do it. So are we saying the Ivorians are superior to us, or the Malians, or the Senegalese, or the South Africans, and others?
I mean, we are already doing it.
If they are not,
we are already implementing ROPA in a limited way. Why? Because the diplomatic missions vote. They vote. We're already about 40 countries. Our citizens who are serving in the diplomatic missions, our gallant soldiers on missions, they vote. What will happen if we expanded to now say, okay, citizens of Ghana in this country, we are starting on a case-by-case basis. Citizens in countries where we have missions are going to be point A for for implementing ROPA. I think we are making excuses.
Is it that we are afraid of the Ghanaians outside?
Well, how can we be afraid of them? I mean, they are not here, but they are here with us, aren't they? There's a lot of remittances coming in, and that's a very significant part of our everyday life. I mean, they support us in a lot of ways. They are. How can we be afraid of them?
But many of the people who are here now, in many positions, they used to be in the diaspora.
Precisely.
Sure.
A lot of them are sitting in Parliament now. Who maybe 2 years ago, a year ago, they're sitting in London or somewhere else, and they've come to register and they've contested elections, and they are in Parliament. If you look at your Minister of Finance, he used to be in the US, and he came to Ghana. I lived in the US, I came to Ghana, we all were somewhere else, and we came back. So it's not as if we are different people while we are there, and then from who we are when we show up here in Ghana. But let me give you one perspective. Some people say, oh, but those people, they are enjoying somewhere. We are suffering here. But when it comes to football, that one, we don't discriminate. Even if you are a citizen of Germany, today,
Yes.
and we think that you can help the Black Stars,
We
come to you and we say change your nationality and come and play for the Black Stars.
Yes.
But should that person open their mouth to say, I want to come and vote?
Yes. Yes.
So why do we do that?
My question is,
so much power has been given to the EC.
Justice.
and it's unchecked. Has the EC said 2020 we are going to implement ROPA, and somebody said no, you can't do that? No, they haven't even come out to say that we want to implement ROPA, so we are putting things in place. So we have submitted our budget to the state to fund it. They haven't done it. Matter of fact, the last electoral commissioner argued seriously against, implementing the law.
Yes. But let me bring another element into this. Political parties, there's a clause in the political parties law that a political party cannot accept any money from non-citizens for their campaign. It's a cash or kind. Now, do you believe that we are implementing this? Mr. Kutin, this being implemented.
Did he say cash? He said resources, right?
Cash or kind.
Precisely.
Yeah.
We've been here, the Chinese political party came in the form of a social democratic, which was ridiculous really, but social democratic party supporting social democrats in Ghana, and we had the CDU from Germany coming to support liberal democrats. We've had Frederick Edberg, Frederick Newman, and all these people in Ghana, covert. Then we have the brazen one, which we are all aware of, from Nigeria, from Cote d'Ivoire, from Burkina, giving hard cash. I mean, we've had a former president tell us that he was giving, was it 5 million? So, I mean, these are things that are in the open, and
it's a law. So I'm asking you, why?
Just as my brother here has been saying all this while, I think lots of discretion has been given to the Electoral Commission.
There's no discretion here in the law. The law says if someone breaks the law, they've even prescribed penalties.
But
somebody has to say, aha, you took money. When you mentioned 5 million,
yes.
Okay, I don't want us to talk about J.J. Rawlings, but it came publicly.
It did.
And he himself has admitted that monies came.
Yes.
Now, did you hear the Electoral Commission to write a note to him or to his party to ask them to confirm did he really receive that money, and did it contribute to the election and so on and so forth? Have you heard anybody from the Electoral Commission ask anyone about where they got their money from?
At all.
Not at all.
At all.
Let me give you an example. If you take the US, for example, I mean, there are lots of things that US people don't do right.
Yes.
But in terms of electoral laws,
Yes.
I remember when Obama was contesting to become president, he said, I wanted to buy one of his T-shirts as a souvenir. So I went to his campaign office, and they said, okay, you have to fill in your name, your number, your whatever, before they will sell the T-shirt to me. Okay, because I was buying it from them. Because they are required to keep records. And the records are demanded.
Yes.
If you are running a campaign and people give you money, okay, at the end of the campaign you're supposed to do accounts.
Yes.
As an individual, not political party, individual. So if you also take monies meant for campaign for personal purpose and you are caught, and they are caught from time to time.
Yeah.
They are prosecuted.
Yes.
Some have gone to jail.
Wow.
Do you think it can happen here?
No, not at all.
You're saying no. Why no? It's part of the law.
Yes, it is, but I think
how is it being
our
implemented?
laws, well,
Our laws are, it's the law.
our laws are just there. I think it's just written and it's not being effectively used, or it's not being abided by as it's supposed to. Because the Electoral Commission, I don't think they can really put people who have done that to book, or they can bring them and make them face the penalties.
Why?
Because it's either they are scared of the outcome.
Why would the Electoral Commission be scared?
I'm saying things as it is, and it's because these political parties they have powerful people amongst them. And
So they're saying the people are more powerful than the law?
they are not, but this is how things are, and that's how they.
So, Mr. Asman,
they
do you
have
think
made
it should happen, or it can happen in Ghana?
Not at all. I can never agree this. Now, even with the electoral commissioners themselves, I mean, there's corruption in the electoral commission. You all know what is happening right there now. Taking money from people. And
I'll come to, as my last topic, I'll come to what is happening now. Right now, I'm asking you think that this law can be implemented
No.
and followed? I have been a candidate, and I can tell you that nobody has come to me from the Electoral Commission at the end of the election to ask me, how much money did you get? Where did you get it from? How did you spend the money? There isn't any such thing. There are no rules sent to us as candidates or given to us that this is what you must do, this is what you cannot do. Okay. But however, the political parties are asked at the end of every, not even the one of every year, campaign.
Okay.
Campaign. They give you 6 months to come and account.
Yes.
To come and say, this is where I got my money from. If it's a by-election, whatever, it's supposed to be done.
Yes.
Do you think the political parties do it?
Some do, some don't. But
If some do, some don't.
yes,
So
just to
then why
answer that
are they still
together.
political parties?
Yes, so I think that the EC can do it if they want to do it, but really, I would rather they are forced to do it through restricted due process. Some of the parties don't do it, and they are still political parties because we are using administrative, jargons and administrative, terminologies to cover them. Well, I mean, they were not really part of the campaign. They didn't really participate. They didn't really spend much money. It's okay, which is really against the law. But the bigger parties have resources to, especially in the election year where they.
But when you say they have resources, the
Yes.
point is that do you know where they get the money from?
I don't.
No, even in the
Does anybody ask?
even
Well, the EC is mandated to ask through every political party is expected to present their statements of accounts to the Electoral Commission, and they don't do it, and the Electoral Commission doesn't really care.
Okay, well, we'll take another break, and when we come back, we will talk about what's going on now. And still ask the same question. Is the Electoral Commission a threat to our democracy? And what we've been talking about, we've taken pieces of the law that governs the activities of the Electoral Commission. And we've asked the question about the registration of political parties, how they are maintained, and has any political party been taken off the register or not, which hasn't happened. We've talked about representation of the People's Amendment Act that allows the diasporans to vote, which they are not voting. We've talked about money. How do you get your money to conduct a campaign or even to fund a political party, and then accounting for the monies that you get. But before we go and break, let me just say something to you. When I travel outside the country, I'm envious about the candidates in other countries, whether it's France, the UK, the US especially. Because every now and then I'll go, somebody will invite me to attend a meeting that they are having, because the person knows me. And that person is an individual. The individual will decide that I'm going to have a fundraising event at my house or somewhere. And they will invite people to come. Those people, when they are coming, many of them will bring a drink, some food, something, some snack for people. Okay, then the candidate will come. The candidates will come, shake hands, say a few words, then they will all make a contribution. Okay, and then they'll give the money to the candidate, and the candidate goes away. Now, when I look at that, I say, a politician there. Someone organizes. He doesn't. Somebody organizes for people to come and hear him talk. And they have food, they share snacks, and then they give him money to go away. What happens in Ghana? In Ghana, you call them. To call them, you must fuel their coming. And when they come, you must refresh them. Yes. When they are going, they are asking for something small. And we are in a poor country. This is Ghana great and strong. We will come back.
Do you want to print on paper, t-shirts, suits, interlock, bedspreads, handkerchiefs, or you want to brand your office, shops, or cars? Are you thinking about a billboard, signpost, or signboard which will drive the customers right to you? Then contact GN Printing. At GN Printing, we have ultra-modern state-of-the-art equipment to give you accuracy, quality, and affordable printing ways. We also do embroidery on all services.
For quality and affordable printouts, contact us at number 1 Industrial Estate, Saman Elmina, or you can reach us via the following numbers: 0332 096 861 or 050 132 7672. You can also reach us through our social media platform, facebook.com/GMPrinting. Visit our website at www.gmprintingghana.com, or you can also email us info@gmprintingghana.com. GN Printing, you dream, we ink it.
Welcome back to Ghana Great and Strong. And, well, Henry Oseputo from Sunyani, he just says, God bless you for constant education to build Ghana Great and Strong. And Big OT from Kwesi says, the EC is not performing because of the way the chairperson is appointed. And he says, if we can do something about this, Ghana will change for the better. Emmanuel Ashite from Takwa, he says he thinks the Electoral Commission has not been fair to all political parties across the country, with the current situation at hand involving the 3 EC commissioners. Gives us every right to doubt the credibility or the integrity of the Electoral Commission. So let's go into what is happening and what has been happening recently by the Electoral Commission. Now, when the Electoral Commission the deputy commissioners accuse the Electoral Commission of not following the law internally. What does that say? And then when the chairperson of the Electoral Commission also turns around and also accuses the deputy commissioners of not going according to law, what does that say about the democracy that we have been practicing? And one more, and then I will ask you to all to comment. When the chairperson of the Electoral Commission accuses a deputy chairperson that he has been sitting in his office and transferring votes, and I'm a candidate, I said, hey, they are transferring votes, or they are creating polling stations, and I didn't know. So, and there are thousands of them, thousands of polling stations that nobody knows. It can change any election. So, the things that you've heard, let's put them all together. What does that tell you about what has been going on, Mr. Kuti?
No checks and balances. Supposedly, the EC is independent, so let them handle their thing. They can handle that. But how do you ensure that the right thing is being done if there are no checks and especially checks, external checks and balances? Had it not been that the two deputies sang and the Electoral Commissioner herself decided to join the chorus, we wouldn't have known that people were able to sit in their office and transfer votes.
Mr. James,
as I stated earlier, it's because the EC has attention coming to it when we are about voting, and it's after election. That's when, after elections, everything is done and dusted with. Now, these two deputies are supposed to serve as check to the main electoral commissioner, because they, if I'm right, they are not appointed by the president.
All of them are appointed.
Yes. Okay. So the three, they are supposed to work hand in hand, and they're supposed to check themselves. That's how come they don't choose just one particular person. So this happening, it tells us that means some way, somehow, somebody is trying to take everything and do everything. That's where the problem is coming from, and it's quite problematic if we should have.
Let me come to you, Mr.
Yeah, I think there is total mistrust among the commissioners and the entire Electoral Commission. Well, if there's a system is made up of several organs. Now, when one system or one organ fails, the entire system fails to function. That is the current state of the EC now.
Okay. Now, the interesting thing is, we got to this stage, and all of a sudden there are several messages that have appeared, over 60 of them, that have appeared. And so I'm going to try and get some of the views from the outside as well. Emmanuel Ashite, I think we've read his message. We have Jabir Karim Diego from Yeji. I'm not going to read his comment. He's, I guess he's just seeing me today for the first time as a host of this program, and so he's. So let me move on from there. Yao from Kwesi says our laws simply need amendment because they are made to shield politicians. And he says EC obviously does not want to implement the laws because it may not favor some political parties. John Lackland from Takrady. Well, he says that Jimmy Kutin is his former lecturer at Kimpa. Yes. As I told you, some people will be watching you. He says ROPAL is long overdue. Yeah. Since 2003, we've been deliberating over its full implementation. We seem to react slowly to any good move. And then he also says, well, look at how slow the implementation, well, how slow it is, how long it's taking for the Right to Information Bill to be passed by Parliament. And he's going into other topics, so let me leave that. Also, Efo Senyo from Tranwa is around here. Namina says it's unfortunate the activities of the Electoral Commission appear to us more as a dramatic irony. They make rules that they themselves don't abide by. And he says that certain positions, including the EC chairperson, should not be appointed by sitting presidents. You know, that is a view. I share some of that view, that we shouldn't really just leave one person, yes, the president, to just get up one day and say, okay, I want this man to become the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, or even to become a deputy chairperson, and it's just that one person alone, even though it still goes to Council of State and so on and so forth. It's like a done deal. Okay, we want people to understand that if the credibility of the Electoral Commission is shot, then the whole democracy also goes by the wayside. Because if we can't certify the integrity of the voters' register, which is not what Papa Kwesi Nduom is saying, the big people there, including the chairperson herself, is saying that somebody in her office has been transferring votes illegally. Yes. Hey, and all of this time we didn't know, but she knew. Yes. And what did she do about it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And they also say they know what she had been doing. Yes. And they're also saying it now, after election. So if I was a bad man, I should also go somewhere and say, the whole election, it was not free and fair. Yes, it was wrong, and so on and so forth. So you know, one year and another bring him back. That he can't be president. Sure. How did he become president? Yeah. So you know, if we want to avoid all of those kinds of things, then we must make sure the Electoral Commission, you know, abides by its own laws. Okay. So I will just. There are messages from Binduri district, from different parts of the country. I just want to thank everybody that has been trying to send a message to me. There are some of you who have been trying to call. The way this program is to this evening, we couldn't take phone calls, and so if you've been trying to call us, many have been trying to. I'm sorry, we can't take phone calls this evening. And some of you, they've sent messages. We can't also read all of the messages for you, but I'll take your last comments. Someone says, please read my message. But it's from the Bumpungu district in the northern region. He is talking. He's just telling us he's watching us live from there, and that. He wants us to keep creating jobs. Mr. Kuti, your last words.
I think that there's been a clear systemic failure at the Electoral Commission, and that is not exclusive as far as the Ghana establishment is concerned. Almost all the state institutions are experiencing systemic failure, and it's a symptom of the way the 1992 Constitution was crafted, where the powers were not evenly distributed, and there's too much discretion given to public officials with the assumption that some morality will before them to do the right thing, and there are no checks and balances. So I'm going to urge, I mean, we are still in the process of reviewing the Constitution. I'm going to urge that going forward, seeing the kind of things we are seeing, particularly with the Electoral Commission, we begin to move towards restrictive due process where things are clearly defined and sanctions clearly, stated. If you are supposed to implement ROPA, if it's 12 months, it's 12 months. If you are not able to do it within 12 months, there are sanctions.
Okay, let me move on, but I want to say something about these sanctions. Now, if we say Electoral Commission, they don't implement a certain provision by a certain time period, we should impose sanctions. Let me give you an example, a higher level one. Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, it mandates that we should have free, compulsory education in Ghana.
Yes.
And it allowed 10 years for preparation.
Yes.
And it says after that, it should be free, it should be compulsory, basic education.
Yes.
And this constitution, we voted for it in 1992.
Yes.
So let's even say that in 2003, it chalked 10 years.
Yes.
So 2003, who was president?
2003, Kufuor.
2003,
yes,
it was Kufuor.
Yes.
And then, so Kufuor has come.
Yes.
Atamils has come.
Yes.
John Mahama has come.
Yes.
And now Nana Akufo-Addo is there.
Yes.
So what should we do to those people? I don't answer the question. I'm just stating that
I would have loved to answer a matter of
we have these things out there. Mr. Jimmy, sir, your last comments.
Just as Mr. Kutina said, I believe that the right checks should be done, and the correct institutions should be set up so that we do not have a lot of issues in our state's offices. And these offices, these appointments, people who get these appointments or appeal to them, that these offices they have high integrity, I should put it. So if they get this opportunity, they shouldn't fail the people of Ghana. They should understand that when you're given such positions, you are there to serve the people, and that's exactly what you should do.
Yeah.
Mr. Asma.
Yeah, I would say that to avoid these things from happening from time to time, there should be amendments in the Constitution of Ghana, because it was drafted in a way that it's favoring some entrenched positions, that making it very difficult to remove some personnel from their positions. Now, when you look at the issue trending now, we could see those inconsistencies in the Electoral Commission. So the point I want to conclude is that for these things to be avoided, then the Constitution should be amended.
Okay. Well, this is where we're going to need to end our program. But before we do, there's been a lot of talk. This is all part of our topic, but there's been a lot of talk about the towing levy. Towing levy. And I just want to say something small about that, because, we have laws in this country. We have a law that says that if you leave a vehicle parked somewhere illegally, the assembly, the authority can come and tow that vehicle and charge you for it. Indeed, in many other countries, you go and leave a vehicle on the wrong side of the road, even just park it. In many parts of the world, let me just pick, you go to Washington, D.C., they will come and tow the vehicle away. Then you will have to go and pay a fine, and you pay that fine before you can get it. And usually they go and park these vehicles somewhere that it will take you a while for you to even get there, identify your vehicle, just so that you don't do it again. Okay? So the punishment is on the person who has done the wrong. It's on that person. Now, in Ghana, we've decided that, oh, the law is there. But it's too difficult to implement that law. And so, if you tomorrow, you go and buy a car, you're a vehicle owner. So now we're going to charge you anywhere from 20 Ghana cedis to 200 Ghana cedis. You pay every year, or whenever you go and renew your whatever license or whatever. Okay, you pay. And then we decide to give one contract to one company that 80-something% of all this money collected from everybody will be given to this one company, and they will be responsible for towing any of these vehicles that are wrongfully parked. So if you come to Elmina, Combination Square, and somebody has parked their car to block the entrance, so we're going to wait for this company to come and tow that vehicle away. Or you're at Kaswa trying to go to Takrady, and someone has parked their car at Budumbura. There, somebody, they'll call these people, they'll come and tow the car away, and then they will use the money, Baba Kwesi Nduom's money that they've collected from me. I haven't done anything wrong. They will take my money and use it to pay. This one, I'm also saying, Mintia, I won't pay. And why? We have laws. What sort of laziness do we have? Okay, this has nothing to do with the company that they are giving the contract to. It has to do about the laws we have and our ability to implement them, which is why we were talking about the Electoral Commission. It's a commission brought into being by laws. And they have laws that they must keep and implement, regardless of whoever it doesn't favor. And they must go ahead and do it. Otherwise, whatever it is that we're doing, we're just doing things. And no wonder our people remain poor. There's one other thing I'm tempted to comment on, but I'll just, again, say just something small about it. But I'll also say, before I do, let me just say that this program has also been carried live on Ocean One TV's Facebook. Live, streamed live. And it happens every time. But also, so you know that where we are sitting is the studios of Ocean One TV, which happens to be at the Amkafie offices at Itri in Elmina. So that's where we are. That's where we're coming from. So the other point I was just going to make very quickly is that, you know, there are some people having argument about who is founder of Ghana. Was there a founder? Were there founders? Who started what, when? I'm sure that there were chiefs and warlords and people who fought, you know, somewhere they say King Agokoli and whatever in the Volta region. There are all sorts of people, okay, who fought all sorts of people so that they are all part of who we are today. Were they founders or not? If everybody says Pargrant, somebody came before Pargrant. Someone came after Pargrant. So someone came before Dankwa. Someone came before Kwame Nkrumah. Someone came after him. And then we've had presidents and so on. So some have done good, some have been terrible. Some are here today. So who is founder, who is not founder? Yeah, the history. I remember during the 1992 election, J.J. Rawlings used to say that he makes history for Edubuahin to write. That has stuck in my mind. So today, is it that some people don't want to make history, but they want to mark history papers? You are students. So let me leave with that. This has been Ghana, great and strong. My name is Papa Kwesi, and I want to thank all of the technical people, the ones in the studios in Accra, Richmond Lamptey and the rest, the ones in the studio here at Ocean One Television, Samuel Obeng and his I want to thank them for the work that they have done, and also for you at home who has heard us on radio, watched us on television. Thank you very much. We'll be back your way again next week, Saturday, 7 o'clock in the evening.
Serio,